Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Taxes added and others scrapped in a budget unveiled by the new Barbados government. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, June 11th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Prime Minister Mia Mottley said on Monday her government is prepared to implement tough decisions to revitalize an ailing economy as it announced a new set of tax measures as part of new fiscal policies. Prime Minister Mottley says she is determined that the island will not be regarded as a failed state under her administration. Presenting her government's first financial statement and budgetary proposals for 2018, Mottley said the new taxes underscored her government's desire to ensure the burden is shared by all Barbadians as well as protect the most vulnerable in society. She says her government will close the fiscal deficit completely this year, and she says they will achieve this more comfortably in year 2 of their plan. And she says the administration will be running surpluses in excess of 3% beyond from year 3. Mottley says the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Plan is carefully balanced and is in keeping with campaign promises to abolish the controversial National Social Responsibility Levy as well as the road tax.
We will repeal the National Social Responsibility Levy from the 1st of July this year. This distortionary tax has led to a revenue gain of $145 million. But when the NSRL was put on, many prices across Barbados rose by double digits, depressing retail sales and tolls significantly, and economic activity generally. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are conscious that the Central Bank of Barbados reflected that there was a doubling of inflation, as I said earlier, in 2017, caused predominantly by the astronomical increase in the rate of the NSRL.
Mottley also announced that effective October 1st, 2018, government will introduce an airline travel and tourism development fee. As a result, passengers flying outside of the CARICOM region will pay $70 and for those within CARICOM, $35 and this fee will be in addition to the departure tax. Mottley says it's anticipated that this measure in a full fiscal year will realize $95 million in revenue. Mottley also announced that effective January 1st, 2020, the rate of value-added tax levied on the tourism sector will move from 7.5% to 15%.
Introduce a room levy to be applied to our hotel rooms as follows. 1, B-class and apartments, $2.50 US currency per room per night. A-class, $5.50 US currency per room per night. Luxury class, $10 US per room per night. Mr. Speaker, sir, we thank them for allowing us to be able to have this modest contribution, which, however, will yield almost $45 million to the Treasury of Barbados in a full fiscal year.
Over in Bermuda, a backlash from businesses has forced the government there to ease back on a new 75% sugar tax. Health Minister Kim Wilson told the House of Assembly that the tax will now be introduced in stages. The modified legislation gives local businesses such as bakeries a break from the high tariff. It now proposes a new duty rate of 50% on sugar to start on October 1st. The authorities said the 75% rate will be introduced in April of next year. The health minister said the changes were adopted after further consultation and feedback. Some businesses had argued that the tax on high sugar products would hit their profits and encourage shoppers to buy even worse food alternatives than homemade baked goods. Religious leaders in Trinidad and Tobago are continuing to object to any notion of same-sex marriages in the Twin Island Republic. They're urging the Dr. Keith Rowley-led government to publicly endorse its position and maintain that marriage is a union between a man and a woman. On Monday, Roman Catholic Archbishop Jason Gordon told reporters that the church is united in its views regarding marriages. Gordon said men and women were created to complement each other for union in marriage and for the procreation of children. The stance taken by the religious leaders follows the ruling in April by the High Court that the Buggery law is unconstitutional. The government has already indicated that it will appeal the ruling of Justice Devendra Ramprasad that the law goes against the basic rights of any citizen to enjoy the freedom of privacy and family life. The High Court ruled it was unconstitutional to impede the rights of homosexual men and prevent them from having anal sex. It was in a challenge that was brought against the state in 2017 by gay rights activist Jason Jones. The judge said it was unfortunate when any society in any way values a person or gives a person their identity based on their race, color, gender, age, or sexual orientation. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches, Dr. Desmond Austin, told the news conference that the campaign will be to encourage the parliamentary agenda for September 2018 to amend the Marriage Act to define marriage as one between a biological man and a biological woman. Still in Trinidad and Tobago, Member of Parliament for Laventille West, Fitzgerald Hines, says he would support the implementation of a state of emergency in that community. His comment comes against the background of a rising murder toll, even as government assures efforts are being made to deal with the problem. We get more in this CNC3 news report.
There's a collective outcry for the bloodshed to end as this country's murder rate rages unabated. The recent triple murder in Laventille, in which a 16-year-old boy was among those killed, has the Member of Parliament for the area calling for
far more intense, sustained efforts in terms of operations for as long as it takes, as rough as it might be, until we bring the situation under control. That's what I would like to see.
Fitzgerald Hines is not shying away from the imposition of a state of emergency, a move which has previously been labelled as controversial.
If that becomes necessary in the view of the police commissioner and so on, I would support that, because in Laventille that I represent, there are many, many illegal firearms, but it is not only Laventille. It is now all over Trinidad and Tobago, and wherever the intelligence tells them that they need to do it, I would support that, to lock it down and to go in there and attend to it.
But with the public clamouring for answers and accountability, the Laventille West MP says there is room for improvement as he zeroed in on the various arms of law enforcement.
I think the police organization can do more. I acknowledged that they are doing, but I have a suspicion that, like most other organizations in this country, the entire police organization is not firing on all cylinders.
Meanwhile, Hines is standing by the recently proclaimed anti-gang bill and maintains it will make a dent in crime fighting.
The Belize government is being sued. We'll tell you by who and why after the break.
It starts from sunrise, a city filled with an island vibe, music, people, color, friendship, culture, and the warmest of smiles. Come enjoy the unique costumes, pulsating steel pans, exotic culture, exciting fetes, and unforgettable people. Discover Antigua's Carnival, the Caribbean's greatest summer festival, July 27th to August 8th, because the beach really is just the beginning.
Welcome back. A Belizean man who was recently released from prison after being incarcerated for more than 6 years is suing the government for what he says is wrongful detention. Mark Sewell was detained in 2011 on the grounds that the United States had requested his extradition on charges of conspiracy to distribute marijuana, conspiracy to commit money laundering, laundering money to conceal or disguise the nature, locations, source, and ownership of proceeds of the sale of cocaine and marijuana, and more than 15 counts of the unlawful importation of cocaine into the U.S. After a long-fought case by Sewell's attorneys Anthony Sylvester and Brian Neal, Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin agreed that his committal warrant was defective and of no effect. Now, Sewell is suing the government for alleging malicious prosecution and false imprisonment. Sewell's lawyer, Anthony Sylvester.
The Honorable Chief Justice declared that Mr. Sewell, Mark Sewell's detention was unlawful and in contravention of the Constitution of Belize, Section 5, and it was also in contravention of the Extradition Act. And so we basically have brought this claim, and we are now seeking compensation for Mr. Sewell's unlawful detention for a period that calculates to roughly like about 2,376 days. He would have been incarcerated or from 2011, it would be from 2011 to 2017.
Sylvester did not indicate how much money his client is asking for, but he said the government has already filed a defense and made an application for the case to be struck out. When asked if there is a possibility that the extradition request could be made again, Sylvester said it is possible, but it does not negate his client's right enshrined in the Constitution of Belize to seek compensation.
Having been discharged from a habeas corpus application, that did not or cannot or does not bring an end to the possibility of the requesting state, you know, if they so desire, reinstitute extradition proceedings. But here's the thing: if he filed a claim or not, that legal possibility still existed for them. So, you know, in my view, it's not here nor there.
Not really.
Yeah, it's not here nor there.
Okay.
It ought not to be a consideration which weighs on a litigant, especially somebody who has been unlawfully detained, whether they should seek compensation or not.
The matter will be heard at the end of this month in the Belize court. Over in St. Lucia, police have questioned 2 French nationals after they claimed a bomb had been placed at the George F.L. Charles Airport, which caused the facility to be evacuated. Eyewitnesses said the unidentified man and woman had earlier raised an objection to paying extra for overweight baggage as they prepared to board an Air Caribe flight to the neighboring French island of Martinique. Despite being cautioned, the pair continued to make assertions about explosives on the airport tarmac. The police were informed and a bomb disposal team was dispatched to the airport. Passengers' baggage was searched while the airport was placed on lockdown that lasted 2 hours, but no explosive devices were found. Ahead in Newsline Sport, the West Indies take the lead in their test series against Sri Lanka. We'll be right back.
Do you wish to combine a vacation with pure laughter? Then St. Martin is the place to be on June 22nd and 23rd for the 14th annual edition of its comedy festival, Laugh Till Belly Burst, with comedians from all over the world. Book hotel and show tickets until June 20th now at www.ltbbsxm.com.
West Indies blew away Sri Lanka by 226 runs on the final day of the opening test on Sunday and claimed their first test win over the Asian side in 10 years. The victory gave them a 1-0 lead in the series. Sensing victory at lunch with the Tories tottering on 222 for 7 in their second innings at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain, the Windies wasted little time in grabbing the last 3 wickets for the addition of just 4 runs. They needed just about 20 balls in the space of 13 minutes after lunch to do it. Sri Lanka lost their last 7 wickets for 37 runs in their failed pursuit of an improbable 453 for victory. Here's how the Windies won the match.
2 for 7, as we show you some highlights of the first session of day 5, and this indeed was the only highlight from a Sri Lankan point of view, with Kusal Mendes scoring an important 100. Few blows to the night watchman who hung in there, but this was a brute of a delivery. Well, the purists would think that he shouldn't have played at it, but I think that was too good. Such a good delivery. Yeah, top class. Even if the pitch assisted, it was well deserved by Shannon Gabriel. Bishu came on and found some turn and some bounce, and eventually the googly proved the undoing of Lahio Gamage, who batted staunchly. He did a good job defending well, showing character. And it all came to an end of the bowling of the leg spinner. Sri Lanka never looked comfortable in the first session, put under a lot of pressure. Turn for the spinners. Bella in between played some lovely drives, sweeps. They've also ages and steady the Sri Lankans. Shape Tikbella attempted a few bold shots. And then Dinesh Chandimal just looking to go over the top, possibly looking at that vacant mid-wicket area. And then plumb as you could get. Was reviewed, but the only doubt would have been an inside edge.
This was after lunch. Things happened quickly. Herat picked up by Bishu. Using the conditions as you would expect it. You expect the spinners to come in and cause havoc. Bit of havoc in the fielding department for Bishu. Boston chase. Picked up Suranga Lakmal, who actually missed it, but was given out. Didn't have any reviews to use. The batsman earlier had, at this stage, you'd have to say, wasted them. The very next ball, Lahiru Kumar was given out. That wrapped up the test match. He was clever. Not always did he look to turn the ball, used the arm ball to great effect. Froston Chase ended up with 4.
Yeah, clever use of the spinners. Batsmen created the opportunity to bowl on the 5th morning and afternoon.
And Captain Jason Holder said the West Indies' rearguard batting effort in the first innings laid the foundation for the victory. The hosts were floundering at 147 for 5 just before tea on the opening day, when Shea Dowrich, who made a splendid unbeaten 125, anchored 3 key partnerships to help lift the total to 414 for 8 declared. Dowrich put on 90 for the 6th wicket with Holder and 102 for the 7th wicket with tail-ender Devendra Bishu before crushing Sri Lanka's spirits in a 75-run 8th wicket stand with Kemar Roach. Speaking to reporters after winning the match on Sunday, the Windies skipper gave credit to the batsmen and bowlers.
It was an exceptional effort. You know, to put us in the position that we did on the first day's play into the second, with the bat posting a total in excess of 400 was really good. It gave our bowlers the opportunity to come out and run at the Sri Lankans, you know, with a score behind us. You know, we were able to rock them over for less than 200 in the first innings and then come back to back it up here in the second innings as well.
And in the first innings, you always struggle with the bat.
up front, and then you already came good with Dorich. Was there any concern about the batting? No, I wasn't concerned. Our lower has been, probably one of the most consistent lowers in world cricket, for the last 2-3 years. I've always backed the guys to come in and put up a partnership, put up a fight. It really started, I guess, with the partnership that Shane and I had, and then Devendra came in and played an outstanding knock. And not only did he take time out of the game, he also scored as well. And that really, wore down the Sri Lankan bowlers and made it tough for them. So I was always, pretty much backing our players to get us up to a really good score, and credit to the guys who did it.
And with West Indies having endured a humbling whitewash at the hands of New Zealand in a 2-test series last December, Holder says Sunday's win was an ideal start to his side's test schedule for the year.
I felt the preparation was really good. We had a lot of time to sit back and reflect on how the year ended last year. And, to come to start this test series the way we started is quite pleasing, knowing that in the past we've been a little lackluster in starting series and playing catch-up cricket. So it's good to get out the gates on a winning note, and hopefully we can continue on in St. Lucia.
Well, prior to the test, there had been calls from sections of the cricket community in Trinidad for a boycott to protest what some saw as unfair treatment of their international players by West Indies selectors. But Holder said the fans did come out at Queen's Park Oval for the first test, and his side had been buoyed by their support.
Everybody was very supportive of the team. Obviously there was 1 or 2 talks of people not being interested in test cricket and not coming out to support us, but I must say credit to the Trinidad public for coming out and supporting us over the last 5 days. I think the crowd support was tremendous. They really got behind us throughout the game, and we fed off of that energy, and throughout the rest of the region I've been getting a lot of calls, but getting a lot of texts, and likewise the other players in the dressing room have been getting a lot of support from outside. So the guys are really putting in their all, and I think the encouragement goes a very long way.
Meantime, the unbeaten 100 by man of the match Shane Dowrich has seen him vault 20 spots in the ICC Test batting rankings. In the latest rankings released on Monday, the 25-year-old has improved to 66, representing one of the biggest moves. As you may recall, the right-hander struck 125 not out in his second Test 100 to dig West Indies out of trouble in the first innings. Speaking after the match on Sunday, Dowrich said getting his century felt good, but winning the match was more important. And he told reporters his partnership with Bishu was instrumental.
It's always pressure playing Test cricket, but I think Bish really stood up, and he took his time and spent a lot of time out there, and that really helped me to be confident in what I was doing. I was just looking to stay there and be patient, and it worked out for us.
Right. Looking into the next match, how important was to win this first match to get some momentum going for the rest of the series?
Well, it's always good to get off to a good start. Of late we haven't been starting the series well, so for us to start this one well and go 1 up, it's good for us. Hopefully it'll give us confidence going into the next game, and we could come out and win that one as well.
In other news now, former world champion Grenadian Kirani James set a new meet record in his first outing in over a year when he snatched a dramatic win at the Racers Grand Prix in Jamaica over the weekend. The 25-year-old, who has been battling injury and illness, produced a sterling stretch run to catch leader Fed Curley in a time of 44.35 seconds and finished 100th of a second clear of the American in the men's 400 meters. Former world and Olympic champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price of Jamaica also continued her comeback with a thrilling victory in the women's 100 meters in her third race since returning after a year off. We get more in this report from TVJ Sport.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price delivered her second win in 3 races since her comeback from the birth of her child, as she posted a season's best 11.10 seconds to win the women's 100 meters at the JN Racers Grand Prix on Saturday night. Fraser-Price beat the fast-finishing American Jenna Prandini, who clocked 11.14, and the Jamaican 16-year-old fast-rising star, USA-based Brianna Williams, 11.26.
I'm just really excited to be here. I thank the Racers organizers for having me. And of course, I would like to say a big thank you to the crowd for your support. I think that was the extra energy at the line, so thank you guys so much. And yeah, for me, it's just about a race at a time and trying to execute the phases of the 100. Still some way to go, but I'm really excited about the time and excited about the progress.
Jamaica's Shanika Ricketts secured one of 2 meet records on the night to defend the women's triple jump. Other went to Grenadian Kirani James in the men's 400 meters. James came home in 44.35 to beat the previous meet record of 44.37 set in 2016 by Trinidadian Marcel Cedeno. American Fred Curley was second in 44.36, while Braylon Taplin ended third in 45.11. Javon Francis and Demish Gay finished 5th and 6th respectively.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
I can't believe I'm actually, said it last time too, can't believe I'm actually looking at them. Same thing now. They look like they changed some stuff up from last year as well, so I'm stoked to ride it. So, first gonna have fun with all the locals, ride with all the boys.
It starts from sunrise, a city filled with an island vibe, music, people, color, friendship, culture, and the warmest of smiles. Come enjoy the unique costumes, pulsating steel pans, exotic culture, exciting fetes, and unforgettable people. Discover Antigua's Carnival, the Caribbean's greatest summer festival, July 27th to August 8th, because the beach really is just the beginning.
A recap of the major developments of this day now. A series of new tax measures announced by the new Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley. She says her government is prepared to implement tough decisions to revitalize the ailing economy. And in sport, West Indies crushed Sri Lanka by 226 runs in the opening test to claim their first test win over the Asian side in a decade and take a 1-0 lead in the series. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to CannaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you and have yourselves a good night.